Okay, well, very good morning to all of you. Still morning? Yes. In any case, first meeting is supposed to be morning all the time. So whether we meet in the evening or afternoon or morning or early morning or night, we have this small tradition that whenever we meet for the first time, it's morning. Okay, so welcome back. And we will be straight away dashing off to our discussion on calculus that we had started rather yesterday. And we will straight away go to the interpretation of what we were learning yesterday, and that is on dydx, isn't it? So, but before that, there were one or two queries, and that is, we have already read about x to the power n and its differentiation being n into x to the power n minus 1. So, like power reduces to 1, and the coefficient of the differentiation after the differentiation is the power itself. Now, these are things that we already know, but the point is that now there are some more questions, and that is it possible that maxima is equal to minima in value terms and so on? Dhruv has asked. We will answer this question, don't worry. Good morning message from Lavan. Okay, I read it out already. Chalo, so let's start. First of all, just to go a little bit behind, there was this question, and that is, can we derive the other ones also? Well, see, if I start deriving each one of them, I think that will be taking too much of time. So let's not go into the wastage of time in that sense. But yes, what we can possibly do. Okay, so what we can possibly do is that maybe we can just go through one of them. Let's say the sin x. Rest exponential, log, and all, they are more complicated ones. So like let's leave it for mathematics. But maybe for one of them, let's break the queue and do it for sin x, the differentiation. But before that, one more thing has to be pointed out, and that is for very small angles. Now, this is an important statement in calculus, and that is if theta is very small, okay, if theta is very small, then sin theta is approximately tan theta is approximately theta. So sin theta is approximately tan theta is approximately theta. Now this is if theta is very small. Now that is something which is important and is often used in many cases. This is also technically written in a slightly different way as well. But anyway, let's leave that aside. And for very small values, obviously, then cos theta will be approximately 1. So like if theta is very, very small. So these are some of the things. Now, when I say theta, angle, one more aspect has to be understood is that forget about theta in terms of degrees. That is over. So when I say theta, we are only talking about radians as the units. So our degree unit is out now. Radians is what is going to be used for, henceforth. In some cases, maybe the question is asking answer in degrees or something like that. In that case, it has to be specially asked. That answer in degrees or something like that. Otherwise, by default, our thoughts will be theta always in radian terms. Right? That's the first thing. Next thing is that if I want to, let's say, find out y is equal to sin x and then find out the value of dy dx for sin x. You can do it for cos x also, for sec x, cot x, tan x, all those things, cosec x, what has to be done? We can use quotient rule and follow it up. But let's do it only for the sin. Okay. So let's say y is equal to sin x, then y plus delta y will be sin x plus delta x. Now we have the formula for sin a plus b, and that is sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. So this will be equal to sin x cos delta x plus cos x sin delta x. Okay. Now, as I said, because delta x is very small, so cos theta is approximately 1. So this will be approximately 1. So I can write it as sin x plus cos x into, now sin theta is approximately theta. So this sin delta x can be written as delta x. Now what is y? Y is nothing but sin x. So therefore you have sin x plus delta y is this. So sin x gets cancelled. So you have delta y by delta x, which is actually dy dx, is equal to what? Cos x. So this is how we get the derivative of sin x. Okay. So this is how we get the derivative of sin x as equal to cos x. This is the methodology. Now similarly, I think for cos x, you can find it out yourself. And then rest of them will follow one after the other. That also you can possibly try yourself. Some of them have been already done in the class, and some were given as homework. So some of you have done it and given follow-up also. So it's all more or less done. Yeah, of course, all those exponential, log and all, those are more complicated ones. So I think let's leave aside. इसका such कोई जरूरत नहीं था. It was just that there was a query, so I thought चलो ठीक answer कर ही देता हूँ. That's the first thing in the agenda. The second thing in the agenda is regarding dy dx. As I said last class, that is yesterday, dy dx is what? Equal to the slope. And what do you mean by slope? Okay, this is the slope. So at this point, if you look at, we draw a tangent. Okay. So if you draw a tangent, this is what you're going to get. So dy dx is equal to tan theta. Now, this is what we see here. Okay, so how do we use this concept of dy dx? Let's quickly follow. First of all, let's take two types of functions. One is this, and the other is this. If you look at this and this, there's a difference. As I go from origin onwards, you see the value of y is decreasing. So this kind of function can be called as a decreasing function. Whereas if you look at here, the value is so and so. Then if you go ahead, it's larger, it's larger, it's larger. So we can definitely call it as a increasing function. Okay. So we have decreasing function and we have increasing function. Right? Okay. So that was about your increasing versus decreasing function wise. Fine. Now, what is the difference in terms of slope? If you look at the slope here, we draw a tangent. See, theta is obtuse. That means tan theta is negative. If I draw a slope out here, so theta is acute. That implies tan theta is positive. That means therefore, the first utility of the concept of tangent or dy dx or slope is that we can identify between increasing and decreasing function by using the sign of slope. So if the sign of slope is positive, that means it must be increasing function. And if the sign of slope is negative, it must be a decreasing function. So that's the first conclusion. Now comes the second conclusion. And that is, sometimes the graph may not be decreasing or increasing, but maybe there's a hump. There's a hump. Now the interesting part is that if you look at this point, the line is parallel, the tangent is parallel to the x-axis. So in this case, the theta value is neither acute nor obtuse, it is actually theta is equal to 0. So at this point, if you look at carefully, theta is equal to 0 means tan theta is equal to 0 means slope is equal to 0. And if you look at carefully, in this entire graph, if you look at, see the values are higher, lower, 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 lowest, and then larger, 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 and goes on increasing. So that point has the minimum value. However, scientists do not attribute the word minimum to that, and there's a reason. We'll just discuss that in brief a little while later on. But the point is that this point, because out of this entire region, if you look at, this is the minimum value. So this is also attributed by another name, and that is called as minima. Similarly, this is attributed another name, and that is called maxima. Okay. Now, what is the speciality? Here also, if you look at theta is equal to 0. So slope is 0. So therefore, with the slope, we can not only identify whether it is decreasing or increasing, we can also identify whether there's a hump or not. Now, whether that's a upward hump or a downward hump, I don't know, or a lower hump, I don't know, convex or concave, I don't know. But the point is that whether it is minima or maxima, so at minima or maxima, the first thing is that slope, that is dy dx, equal to 0. Okay. Fine. So the slope at both these points are 0, and that's the speciality. Now you might say, why aren't you calling this is minimum and this is maximum? Isn't it? Well, there's a reason. Reason is that it will be little unsafe, or rather it may be erroneous at times. Maybe not always, but at times. Now let me explain why. That's because let us say I have a graph of variation of some function, which is supposed like this. There could be a graph like this. Now, which function will have a graph like this? That's a different query. Let's not go into that. But there is a possibility. Now have a look. If you look at this point, and let us see if I call that as the point of minimum, then there's a problem. Why? Because whatever the value is, you see here, the value is even lower. So if you compare this value and this value, this is actually minimum out of this range. Let's say I am drawing the function, only a part of it. So this function might extend to this side also, that side also. Let's say I'm not interested. I'm only interested in this small part that I've drawn. Suppose. Then what? Then this point is having the minimum value and not this. But according to the calculus theory, this is where the minima is. And that is why we are refusing to call it as minimum. Even here also, we will call it as maxima and not maximum. Why? Because you see, compared to this value, isn't this large? So if you look at this range, this is actually the maximum and this is the minimum. And that too, it is within this. Maybe the graph is going even lower, maybe the graph is going even higher. है ना? अगर ऐसे होगा, तब तो और कहानी में twist होगा. And that's why we refuse to call these points as maximum or minimum. We are going to refer to them, these 2 points, as maxima and minima. Okay? That's what we're doing. The maxima and minima. And of course, minimum will be here and maximum will be here. And not only that, now then you might say, then what is the meaning of this maxima and minima? In fact, you know what? We don't even call them technically properly as maxima and minima. We call them as local maxima and local minima. Now you might say, why are we adding another term to it? That's because maybe tomorrow there is a graph like this. Now see, in this region, if you look at this is maximum. In this region, if you look at this is minimum. In this region, if you look at this maximum. In this region, if you look at this is maximum. Minimum. In this region, if you look at this maximum. Now all are maximum. Now out of them also there is a larger value and there is a smaller value and there is an intermediate value. And here this is minima, this is also minima. One of them may be a little larger or smaller than the other. So that's why we use the term local maxima and local minimum. So in this region locally, this is the maximum. In this region locally, this is the minimum. In this region, locally there is a maxima. In this region, locally there is a minima. In this region, locally there is a maxima. And that's how things are progressing. I mean, is that okay? That's what the meaning is as far as maxima and minima is concerned. Okay. Chalo. Now we will also like to know that at both the maxima and minima, dy dx is supposed to be 0. So how do I identify? So how do I identify between what is maxima and what is minima? That's the next question, isn't it? Now for that, let's analyze further. If you look at carefully, in case of a minima-like situation, like let's say this, if you look at the slope here, it is negative. If you look at the slope here, it is 0. And if you look at the slope here, it is positive. So therefore, if you look at carefully, just before the minima, the slope is negative. At the minima, the slope is 0. And beyond that, the slope has become positive. So therefore, try to understand. If I consider the slope itself as some kind of a variation on function, then what is happening? From negative to 0 to positive, isn't it in increasing mode? So therefore, the special criteria for local minima is that the slope is increasing. That means dy dx is increasing in the sense that it started with a negative value, then become 0, and then became positive. Now that's what the case is. So therefore, if I consider this itself as a function, so therefore, if we consider dy dx as a function, it is increasing. Now, for what case are we discussing? We are now discussing the case of minima. तो मिनिमा के लिए खास क्या हो गया? dy dx का अगर मैं फंक्शन मानता हूं तो वो इंक्रीजिंग है, यानी dy dx अगर फंक्शन है तो उसका स्लोप मतलब क्या होगा? उसका सेकंड डेरिवेटिव. So therefore, conclusion is that for minima, the second derivative, okay, must be greater than 0. That's the condition for minima. Of course, one condition is definitely there, and that is dy dx has to be equal to 0. No doubt about that. वो तो है ही है. साथ में second derivative greater होना चाहिए. Now, what about maxima? It's the other way around. Maxima अगर मैं देखता हूँ, it's like this. That means यहाँ पे तो चलो dy dx equal to 0 ठीक है. यहाँ पे अगर देखो तो क्या है? स्लोप पॉजिटिव. यहाँ पे स्लोप क्या है? 0. और अगर यहाँ पे देखते हो तो स्लोप नेगेटिव. यानी अगर तुम dy dx को फंक्शन मानते हो तो पहले पॉजिटिव था, ये देखो, फिर 0 हुआ, फिर नेगेटिव हुआ, यानी डिक्रीजिंग. So therefore, we can say just like dy dx is an increasing function in this case dy dx is decreasing. यानी उसका जो सेकेंड डेरिवेटिव होगा वो फिर नेगेटिव. यानी टू कंडीशंस, dy dx इक्वल टू 0, ये मैं मैक्सिमा की बात कर रहा हूँ, ये तो होगा ही होगा. साथ में इसका जो सेकेंड डेरिवेटिव होगा वो हो जाएगा
सर एक बार आप ये फिर से समझा दोगे कि मिनिमा पे वो ग्रेटर देन 0 क्यों होगा?
मिनिमा पे ग्रेटर देन 0. अच्छा हाँ,
मिनिमा पे second.
देखो समझो, मिनिमम में हो क्या रहा है, देखो पहली बात तो डिवाइड एक्स जीरो, चलो वो तो होना ही था, वो तो मैक्सिमम में भी है डिवाइड एक्स जीरो, तो इससे तो आइडेंटिफाई नहीं हो पाएगा ना कि मैंने मैक्सिमा ढूंढा या मिनिमा ढूंढा। लेकिन एक चीज है कि जहां पे डिवाइड एक्स इक्वल टू जीरो है, उसके थोड़ा सा अगर पहले देखोगे तो डिवाइड एक्स नेगेटिव आएगा। देखो इस तरीके से नेगेटिव होता है ना, अभी थोड़ा देर पहले डिस्कस किया था, क्योंकि ऑब्ट्यूज है ये वाला और ये तो एक्यूट है उधर वाले का। तो यानी अगर मैं डिवाइड एक्स को ट्रैक कर रहा हूँ, यानी समझो अगर मैं डिवाइड एक्स के धीरे धीरे वैल्यूज को ट्रैक कर रहा हूँ, डिवाइड एक्स यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक अगर ट्रैक कर रहा हूँ अराउंड द मिनिमम पॉइंट ये है, तो अगर मैं उसके पहले से ट्रैक करना शुरू करता हूँ डिवाइड एक्स के वैल्यू और फिर एंड तक ट्रैक करता हूँ, तो इन दैट केस क्या निकल रहा है, पहले डिवाइड एक्स से वो नेगेटिव आया, फिर जीरो हुआ और फिर पॉजिटिव आया। यानी डिवाइड एक्स का वैल्यू नेगेटिव से पहले जीरो हुआ और जीरो से पॉजिटिव। दैट्स व्हाट इज हैपनिंग।
सर सेकंड डेरिवेटिव कभी जीरो नहीं हो सकता?
बिल्कुल हो सकता है ना, बिल्कुल हो सकता है। तो उसके लिए अलग अलग क्राइटेरिया है, बट व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग इज मैक्सिमम मिनिमम, so therefore it will be mainly this one. There are all other concepts also called as point of inflection and all. तो खैर उतना डिटेल में हमें जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। Those all things you will read in maths, when you will do proper analysis of it. ये जो डिवाइड एक्स का टॉपिक है ना, इसके ऊपर कम से कम हफ्ता 10 दिन तो चलेगा, हम तो एक ही क्लास में खत्म कर दें। ठीक है ना, so that's the difference. पॉइंट ऑफ इन्फ्लेक्शन, हाँ वही वंश ने भी आंसर दिया, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज पॉइंट ऑफ इन्फ्लेक्शन, वही मैं कह रहा था। तो लाइक दोस आर थिंग्स, हमें बट एनीवे अभी रहने दो, इसका कोई जरूरत नहीं। मेन इशू इज अबाउट मिनिमा में डिवाइड डीएक्स को ट्रैक करूंगा तो नेगेटिव से जीरो से पॉजिटिव, यानी डिवाइड डीएक्स को अगर फंक्शन मानूंगा तो वो इंक्रीज कर रहा है, तो पहले नेगेटिव फिर जीरो फिर पॉजिटिव, यानी बढ़ रहा है। भाई कोई चीज नेगेटिव था फिर जीरो हुआ फिर पॉजिटिव हुआ, यानी बढ़ रहा है। तो अगर डिवाइड डीएक्स को फंक्शन मानो तो उसका स्लोप क्या होगा, पॉजिटिव आना चाहिए, ये हमने डिस्कस किया था। लेकिन अगर डिवाइड एक्स को ही खुद ही फंक्शन मानते हो तो उसका स्लोप मतलब क्या, एक और बार डेरिवेटिव, डबल डेरिवेटिव। दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव रिटन डबल डेरिवेटिव एज in this case as positive. So if divide x is equal to 0 and double derivative is positive, that is minima for us. Okay, so that was a brief description of what is maxima and what is minima. ठीक है ना? Now let's look at how exactly we use this concept. और एक चीज और तो इंपॉर्टेंट हम डिस्कस कर रखा है, दैट इज डिवाइड एक्स इज द स्लोप, दैट वी ऑलरेडी नो। Dhruv has asked for a practice sheet. Don't worry, Dhruv, you will get a practice sheet for weekend. It's already in the pipeline. I will just provide you so that in the weekend you are not fully free. ठीक है? हाँ, कई लोगों ने अच्छा हाँ, ध्रुव ने एक बीच में क्वेश्चन पूछा था, इस दैट क्या कोई मिनिमा और मैक्सिमा बराबर हो सकता है ना? देखो बराबर तो छोड़ो, कई बार ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि मिनिमा इज ग्रेटर देन मैक्सिमा। क्यों ना? क्योंकि देखो मैंने बात किया ना कि मिनिमा क्या होता है, लोकल, मैक्सिमा क्या होता है, लोकल। तो अगर ग्राफ यूं 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 ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है तो कोई एक मिनिमा हो सकता है कि कोई दूसरे मैक्सिमा से ज्यादा हो, क्वाइट पॉसिबल, उसमें कोई दिक्कत। जैसे मैं एग्जांपल दिखा रहा हूँ, सपोज कई सारे मिनिमा यूं ऐसे, अब जरा ध्यान से देखो, अब जरा ध्यान से देखो, यहाँ पे एक मिनिमा है, ये देखो, और यहाँ पे एक मैक्सिमा भी, लेकिन इस मिनिमा का वैल्यू देखो और इस मैक्सिमा का वैल्यू देखो, तो ये वाला मिनिमा ज्यादा बड़ा नहीं लग रहा इस मैक्सिमा से, तो पॉसिबिलिटीज आते हैं। ठीक है ना, हर चीज हो सकता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है यही होगा या वही होगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं। क्योंकि देखो एक्चुअली चीज अब मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम तो रहा ही नहीं, अब तो लोकल मैक्सिमम लोकल मिनिमा है। तो जब वेरिएशन बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सा होगा तो कहीं पे भी लोकल मैक्सिमम मिनिमा हो, होने दो, कोई बात डजंट मैटर। नाउ ध्रुव has asked क्या इक्वल भी हो सकता है? अरे इक्वल क्यों नहीं हो सकता, एक काम करो ना, ये ऐसे था तो मान लो अगर ऐसे हुआ तो ये लो, तो यहाँ का मिनिमा का वैल्यू और वहां का मैक्सिमम का वैल्यू इक्वल हो, देखो एक ही जगह तो हो ही नहीं सकता, क्योंकि एक ही जगह पे तो या तो मिनिमम होगा या तो मैक्सिमम, दोनों इकट्ठे थोड़ी हो सकते, है ना? तो एक ही जगह नहीं, बट अलग अलग, दो अलग अलग जगह पे हो सकता है, किसी एक जगह का मैक्सिमा किसी दूसरे जगह के मिनिमा के बराबर हो सकता है। तो पॉसिबिलिटीज आर ऑल देयर, क्योंकि मैंने पहले ही बोल दिया ना कि अब मैक्सिमम मिनिमम का कंसेप्ट ही नहीं रह गया, मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम का कंसेप्ट ही नहीं रह गया, अब है मैक्सिमा और मिनिमम। सो दैट्स द डिफरेंस, ठीक है ना? Ashita has asked, are we getting summer holidays from May 1? Oh, not at all. Summer holidays तो जून में भी शायद second week के बाद होगा या कुछ। I mean, let's cover up a little bit before we get into summer holidays mode, isn't it? Okay, Dhruv has asked, is maxima plural? Well, I don't know. I don't know. क्यों? क्योंकि हो सकता है कि एक ही हम हो तो एक ही मैक्सिमा हो, तो प्लूरल होना जरूरी नहीं. So therefore, let's leave all this open to the particular system or setup or question that is given. Let's not jump to the conclusion कि ऐसे होना चाहिए, वैसे होना चाहिए. There's a lot of possibilities. I mean, so it could be one maxima, it could be only one minima, and it could have be one maxima and one minima. Can be. ठीक है? चलो, let's move on now. अभी याद करके देखो, हमने एक अलजेब्रा के टाइम हमने क्वेश्चन डिस्कस किया था, and that was this expression y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. और बड़े मेहनत करके अलजेब्रिकली हम लोगों ने स्क्वायर वाला टर्म मतलब सेपरेट करके, है ना, फिर का स्क्वायर को कंप्लीट करके, तो कंप्लीटिंग द स्क्वायर वाले मेथड से, फिर जो लेफ्ट आउट टर्म से अलग करके, तो वी समहाउ मैनेज टू गेट द मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम वैल्यू ऑफ दिस एक्सप्रेशन. This is an expression of course. लेकिन अगर सपोज मैं कहता हूं अच्छा वो था अलजेब्रिक में, and that was obviously a little tedious, पर ये जो एक्सप्रेशन है, we know that it is also called as a quadratic expression और a parabolic expression. ऐसे में अगर तुमको मैक्सिमा मिनिमा निकालना है तो क्या करेंगे? As you know that dy dx equal to 0. So at maxima or minima, now which one I don't know, but yes, this one we know, and that is dy dx is equal to 0. Now how much is dy dx? 2ax plus b. That means 2ax plus b is equal to 0. That means x equal to minus of d by 2. But you might say, what did we find out? We have found out the point x. We have not found out the value of the function as yet, but we have found out the point x where it will either acquire a maximum value. I mean, we might call it as maximum also now, loosely speaking. Or maybe we can stick to a technically correct term and that is maxima. So I don't know whether this point that we have got, that is x equal to minus b by 2, whether that point is a maxima or a minima. As of now, I don't. So how will I know? Now, what did I say? You have to find out the second derivative. So find out. So d2y dx square is the second derivative. Now dy dx is known 2x plus b. So the second derivative will be what? 2a. b is 1, b constant का differentiation 0 होता है ना? मतलब ये इसी को differentiate. अब 0 नहीं, वो तो 0 equate किया था maximum minimum, है ना? At maximum minimum. But otherwise देखा जाए तो dy dx तो 2x plus b है. So now there are two possibilities. Either a is positive. अगर a positive हुआ, इसका मतलब second derivative positive, और अगर second derivative positive आता है तो यानी क्या होगा? Minimum. और अगर a negative है, तो in that case d2y dx square is what? Negative. तो negative मतलब क्या होता है ना? Slope positive से 0 से negative जाना, यानी क्या हो गया? Now this is not something which is unexpected. We have done this already. Nothing unexpected as such. So that's the first thing. Next is that we have till now managed to find out the place or the position or the value of x where it is going to acquire the maxima or minima, whatever the case is, depending on the sign of a. but what is the value? So now we'll say y maxima or minima, I don't know what, will be ax square. X we have already found out, minus b by 2. So minus b by 2a whole square plus b into minus b by 2a plus. Okay. Now this is what? This is b square by 4a minus b square by 2. Plus c. So this will be minus of b square by 4a plus c. You simplify with the minus sign, you will get b square minus 4ac, which is nothing but equal to minus of d by 4. Now, you know what, whether this minus okay. Now, whether this minus is a maxima or minima, well, that we already decided on the basis of E. But whether it is maxima or minima, the final expression is the same. And that is minus of d by 4. Of course, earlier we did it with the help of algebra. Now we have done it with the help of calculus. That is more or less the grounding of the topic first. Okay, so like that is what the topic is basically. Now what I do is that let's move on a little bit more. And that is differential. Now what do you mean by differential? Differential means some very small changes in the function due to very small changes in the variable. So this basically is very small changes in the function due to very small changes in the variable. Okay, that's differential for you. Okay, now let's look at differential. Suppose I say that y is equal to 4x cubed plus 2x. This is given as y. Question is find the change in y when x changes from 2 to 2.0001. Go ahead. We got एक आंसर आ गया and that is 0.0014. That's from Aadhar. I'm waiting a little bit more for some more answers. The group's answer is 5 by 1000. Aviral has given the answer as 4.80012 into 10 to the power minus 3. Lavanya has given the answer as 0.05 and so on. So many answers. So let's see. Actually, you know what? What am I trying to find out? I'm trying to find out change in y. Now, what do you mean by change in y? Change in y is actually delta y. So therefore, to find out change in y, let me write it as change in y is equal to delta y is equal to delta y by delta x into delta x, and that is equal to, let's write it as dy dx into a small change. That's it. Very simple concept. So in this case, y is 4x cubed plus 2x. So dy dx is equal to 12x square plus 2. And therefore, dy is equal to 12x square plus 2 into dx. Now, 12x square, how much is x? 2 actually. So 12 into 2 square plus 2 into dx. Now, how much is dx? Dx is basically from 2 to 2.0001. So dx is equal to 0.0001. That is equal to 4 to the 48 plus 250 into 0.0001. That is equal to 0.005. Now that's the precise answer. Okay. 0.0005. Sorry, 0.005. Yeah. I think the first correct answer has come from I think Dhruv has got the answer. Yeah, Dhruv has got the correct answer first, followed by Lavanya, and now Ishita has also given the same correct answer. That's right. Okay. But there are only 2-3 correct answers. Why? What about others? Yes, can I just have a quick round through? Aviral has said कि मेरा भी आंसर करेक्ट है. वो मुझे लग रहा था कि तुमने बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में चले गए, इसलिए. Otherwise, your answer was also almost on the right track. Let me ask some of you. Aryan, did you get the answer or not? Aryan,
Yes, sir.
आंसर आ गया था?
हाँ सर.
थोड़ा सेंड भी कर दिया करो, पता चलता है कि भाई इंसान जागा हुआ है या सो गया.
सर वो
Yes,
मोबाइल
Devrat.
अवेलेबल.
Devrat, can I hear you? Yeah, so गए. Yes, Devrat, can I hear you? Devrat, पकड़े गए. हाँ, चलो ठीक है, ध्यान रखा जाएगा. और देखता हूँ थोड़ा सा. राघव ग्रोवर बेटे, did you get your answer?
Yes, sir.
तो भेज दिया करो बेटे. किस बात के लिए इंतजार करते हो? शिवराज चौधरी,
जी सर.
आंसर भेजते क्यों नहीं हो? पार्टिसिपेट किया करो बेटे. कोई दिक्कत
नहीं सर.
नहीं? तो फिर आंसर सेंड किया करो. ये आंसर आ गया था 0.005.
हाँ जी सर.
अच्छा चलो गुड. बट देन सेंड कर दिया करो. व्हाट अबाउट युग देव, कैन आई हियर यू?
यस सर.
हाँ जी, तुमने कोई आंसर भेजा नहीं वैसे?
हाँ सर, हुआ नहीं था मेरे से.
अच्छा चलो कोई बात, समझ में आ गया ना?
हाँ सर.
चलो ठीक है. लास्ट एक किसी से पूछते हैं. यश.
यस सर.
हाँ जी बेटे, तुम्हारा आंसर आ गया था?
यस सर.
अच्छा चलो आगे से भेज भी दिया करो. ठीक है बेटे.
ओके सर.
चलो next question is based on similar things. I mean, but let's move on a little bit slightly different concept, and that is tangent. Let us say I have a function which is y is equal to four x square or maybe 3x square. Okay, so y is equal to 3x square, and there is a point out here which is suppose x equal to 2, 12. ये होगा ना अगर उसी पैराबोला को लोगे, है ना? So one of the points will be this one, and that is 2, 12. Now question is that I can draw a tangent here. And I can also draw a normal out. Okay. So this is a normal. Question is, find the equation of the normal. Go ahead. Please go ahead and find out the equation of the normal. Well, I think the question is pretty obvious, and that is this 2,12 point is actually on this graph itself. This is y is equal to 3x square. याद है ना, इस टाइप के हमने क्वेश्चन किया भी है, मतलब हाउ टू ड्रॉ ग्राफ एंड ऑल. तो इसी का देखो एक पॉइंट 2,12 देखो x इक्वल टू 2 पुट करो तो 4 is 12 तो y 12 आ गया. तो 2,12 is actually on the graph itself. तो यहाँ पे एक टेंजेंट बना सकते हो, उसके परपेंडिकुलर नॉर्मल भी बना सकते हो. The question is find the equation of the normal. Okay, we already got one answer, and that is from Lavanya, and that is 6x plus 12y minus c plus 0. बेटे ऐसे नहीं चलेगा ना. You have to give the exact equation. वो c तो unknown हो गया ना, तो c unknown रख के आंसर नहीं आ सकता. ध्रुव ने asked कि dy dx में x का वेरिएबल भी तो आएगा. बट देखो dy dx तो हमेशा कांस्टेंट वैसे भी नहीं होता है. dy dx तो कई बार x के साथ रिलेटेड रहता ही है. जैसे अगर मान लो तुम x to the power 4 लेते हो, y is equal to x to the power 4, तो dy dx का होता है 4x क्यूब, यानी dy dx का स्लोप है और वो 4x क्यूब यानी x कोऑर्डिनेट पे डिपेंडेंट है. ये तो अक्सर होता है, इसका तो कोई सरप्राइजिंग चीज है ही नहीं. Okay, we have got one answer, and that is from Vishwas, and that is x plus 12y minus 146 equal to 0. Now that's a pretty quick answer. Let me see others also, how they are getting. Okay, now there are some close answers coming up. Vishwas has given x plus 12y minus 146 equal to 0. Sheesh has given 6x minus 12 is equal to 0. Karthik has given 12y plus x is equal to 146. I think that's the same thing. ठीक है ना? और Shashwat has given y is equal to 12x minus 12. So like answers similar. दो आंसर कोइंसिडेंट है, एक विश्वास के आंसर है और कार्तिक के आंसर दे द सेम. Rest are varying depending on who has given the answer. Chalo, let's start. First of all, two things. Number one is that the slope of a line or the slope of a tangent at any point is given by dy dx. Okay. Now the dy dx at the point x equal to 2. So if y is equal to 3x square, then obviously dy dx is equal to 6x. And here because x equal to 2, so therefore dy dx is equal to 12. Now that's the first step. Second step is that we know that if there are two perpendicular lines, then the product of their slopes is equal to minus 1. This is important. Okay. So if there are two perpendicular lines, and let's say the slope of this is m1 and this is m2 and they are perpendicular, then for two perpendicular lines, the product of the slope is equal to minus 1. Right? So the product of the slope is equal to minus 1. So if the tangent has a slope of 12, if this is having a slope of 12, that means the other one must be minus of 1 by m1, that is minus 1 by 12. So the slope has to be, okay, m2 is equal to minus 1 by 12. This is for the normal. And one more aspect is that the equation of a line in general is y is equal to mx plus c. So y is equal to m. Now m here is minus 1 by 12 into x plus c. So that's the equation. But we cannot leave the answer in the form of c being not found. So therefore, now I'm going to find out c by taking the fact that this line is passing to this point of 2, 12. So 2, 12 must satisfy. So therefore, we have 12 is equal to minus 1 by 12 into 2 plus c. So therefore, c is equal to 12 plus 1 by 6. And that is 73 by 6. So now put it back there. So you have y is equal to minus of 1 by 12x plus c, 73 by 6. So if I multiply by 12, you have 12y plus x minus so that's why whatever answer earlier Dhruv and now Shashwat has also given the same answer. अच्छा नहीं शाश्वत के आंसर में थोड़ा साइन का गड़बड़ ठीक है ना बाकी तो ठीक है आई थिंक मे बी सम सिली मिस्टेक बट रेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स द सेम अच्छा नहीं शाश्वत का आंसर y और x भी इंटरचेंज कुछ और भी गड़बड़ है ठीक है ना सो 12y plus x 12y plus x is equal to 146 so correct answer from Pearl Kartikeya and Vishwas. Take it. Done. No issue. Okay, so that was about your how to find out small changes which we call as differentials. Also about slope, that is tangent and normal. So quite a few things we've done. Now let's move on. Now, let's continue our discussion on maximum minimum. Suppose I say that we have a cone, I mean, a fixed cone with radius r and height given by 3r. It could be anything, it can be 4r, 5r, anything else. Just give me a question. Suppose I have to, find out a cylinder like this and place it as I am showing here, like this. Now I can do it in a variety of ways. I can place a cylinder like this also. But that's a very thin cylinder. I can place a little flattish kind of a cylinder also like this. So like this as well. So on both sides, if you look at carefully, if I put it very thin but very tall, the volume is less. If I put it as a very flat kind of a thing, but the height is very less, then also the volume is very less. So therefore, my question is, if this is the condition given that the radius is r and the height is 3r, find the volume of the, find the maximum volume of the cylinder that we can place inside the hole. Okay, so find out the maximum volume of the cylinder that we can place inside the cone. So that's the question for you. Please go ahead. Dhruv, one thing is there, that is you are giving answer in terms of pi r square. I think you must be saying pi r cube because we are asking the volume. I hope we are taking that into account. Kartikeya's answer, of course, has r cube, so at least that's more plausible. Now, either Dhruv, you have made a typing mistake in writing 3 pi r cube as by mistake, you've written 3 pi r square, or if there's some other change, please look into it again. Look into it again. So, let me now get into solving mode. So let us say the base of the cylinder is suppose of radius x. The cylinder is suppose of radius x. Okay. So if this is x, then obviously this will also be x. And this is a similar triangle. And let's say the height of the cylinder is suppose h. Okay. This will be obviously then 3r minus h. Because this triangle and this triangle, so these two triangles are similar. So I can definitely write 3r minus h by this is x as equal to full 3r by r. Okay, that's something that you can definitely do. Now, if you do that, what will happen? You will have 3r minus h is equal to 3x. So you have h is equal to 3x minus 3r, which is actually equal to 3 into x minus r. So h is this. Now comes the volume. So volume of the cylinder will be what? Pi r square h. R here is x and h is of course known. So that is equal to pi into r square into h is 3 into x minus r. That is equal to 3 pi into x cube minus xr. So that is the base. Sorry, x cube minus x square r. Sorry. This is the volume. And as
सर h 3 times of r minus x होगा ना कि x minus r. और मैं गलत लिख दिया.
obviously. ठीक है ना? Okay, so that is the volume. As per the maximum minimum condition, what we have to do? We have to differentiate and equal to 0. So therefore, dv dx is equal to 3 pi will remain as it is, and x square r will become 2x into r minus 3x square. Okay, so you have that will be equal to 0. So you have x equal to 2r by 3. That's it. So from this you are going to get that x equal to 2r by 3. So therefore, volume maximum will be able to just put it here, here, isn't it? So we can just write x square common, isn't it? If I do x square common, it will be 4 by 9, but then there is a 3 also, so that is equal to 3 pi into x square common, so that is 4r square by 9 into r minus x, that's r by 3. So 4 pi r cube by 9 is the final answer. Bilkul sahi. So like 4 by 9 pi r cube. So therefore, the final volume maximum that turned out to be is 4 by 9. So the maximum cylinder that we can put inside this particular cone, okay? So the maximum cylinder that we can put inside this cone is equal to having a volume of 4 by 9 pi r cube. I hope that's okay. एंड में बहुत लोगों ने आंसर ठीक दे दिया. कार्तिक अच्छा नहीं, 2-3 जने नहीं दिया. Pearl has also now given the right answer. So good. So that's how we can use the concept of maximum minima even in other cases also. जैसे अभी हमने देखा. Maybe we'll just do one more question and wind up the day by ending the differentiation discussion. Tomorrow we will finish off calculus by doing integration. Okay. Suppose there is a sphere. This is a sphere of radius r, and I want to fit a maximum cylinder out. Same question. So find out the sphere is of radius r. Find out Vmax of the cylinder. Now, no, Ashita has asked कि why did we do differentiation? ना देखो हमने ना वॉल्यूम का एक्सप्रेशन निकाला था तो मिटा दिया. हमने वॉल्यूम का एक्सप्रेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्स निकाला था, यानी एक्स का वैल्यू अगर मैं बदलूंगा तो सिलेंडर का तुम साइज हेरा फेरी कर सकते. ये कौन है तो उसके अंदर तुम चाहो तो थोड़ा सा रेडियस को ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हो. दैट फ्रीडम वाज देयर. So for various radii, you will get various cylinders of various volume. Out of those, all those cylinders feasible, possible, I wanted to find out the maximum volume. And that means you have to find out maxima minima. And for maxima minima, we know that the very first step is what? To find out the differential coefficient as equal to 0. Or rather, equate the differential coefficient equal to 0 means differentiation equal to 0. And then go ahead. So similar thing that we did there also. What about this one? Dhruv has given an answer, and that is a quick one, and that is 4 pi r cube by 3 root 3. Okay, Shashwat was also given the same answer, and that is 4 pi r cube by 3 root 3. Okay, interesting and good answer, in the sense की quick answer. Kartika Jain says कि हाँ मेरा भी वही है. चलो, quite feasible, quite possible rather. Okay, let's see. चलो ठीक है. Well, now let me solve. Suppose मैं कहता हूँ कि ये जो सिलेंडर हमने चूज किया ना, ये तो सेंटर है, इसको y ले लेता हूँ. तो फिर ऑब्वियसली सिमेट्री से क्या होगा ना, ये भी y होगा, यानी हाइट ऑफ द सिलेंडर ऑफ y नहीं है, हाइट ऑफ द सिलेंडर ऑफ 2y. अच्छा, यहां से लेके यहां तक तो r होगा हमेशा. ये जो स्मॉल r होगा ना, ये स्मॉल r क्या हो जाएगा, अंडर रूट ऑफ r स्क्वायर माइनस y स्क्वायर. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब मुझे क्या निकालना है, वॉल्यूम ऑफ द सिलेंडर. तो वॉल्यूम ऑफ द सिलेंडर क्या होगा, पाई r स्क्वायर h. That is equal to pi into r square. R square is r square minus y square into h. Now, please don't put h as y. H is actually equal to 2y. So that has to be taken into account. That's 2y. So which I can write as 2 pi into r square y minus y. Same concept again. So differentiate. So dv dy, let's put that as equal to 0. That means y, sorry, that will be r square rather, r square minus 3y square is equal to 0. So you have y as equal to r by root 3. Okay. If y is equal to r by root 3, let's put it here. So r will be equal to under root of r square minus r square by 3. That's 2r square by 3, so that is equal to under root of 2 by 3 into r. Okay, and Then the next step is therefore V max is equal to smaller obtained pi r square h. So pi r square. Now r is equal to this, so r square will be 2 by 3 into r square. And h is this 2y. So 2r by root 3. That is equal to 4 pi r cube by 3 root. ठीक. So Karthikeya, Shashwat and Dhruv all got the right answer. That's correct. Okay. So therefore the maximum volume of the cylinder that we can put inside the sphere is equal to 4 pi r cube by 3 root 3. Chalo, good job. Okay. So I think that's it what we will have in store as far as today is concerned. तो अब हम लोगों ने कैलकुलस का जो मेन पार्ट था, that is differentiation और उसके तमाम uses in either finding out the slope or tangent or normal, or probably trying to find out whether a function is increasing or decreasing, or about maxima and minima, and when is it maxima, when it is minima, all those sort of stuff, and some applications of maxima minima. I think these are two. I think you can do hundreds of questions like this more. And in maths, you will have one chapter full of just these concepts, and that is how to find out the maxima and the minima of a function. So all these things are there in store for you as far as maths is concerned. But as I said, our focus is only to discuss the concepts in brief, so that whenever there's a situation where physics requires such kind of an analysis of how to find out the maxima of something or the minimum of something, we should have those tools ready. And that's what the purpose was. I hope you have more or less got a connect with this topic as such, that is maxima minima. What we will do is that tomorrow we will be continuing with the integration, and that's where we will call it curtains as far as math tools are concerned. And then finally begin the journey of actual physics. Dhruv has again reminded me about the sheet. Just give me a day or two. Maybe either not today. Today I'm a little busy. Tomorrow you will be getting the sheet so that you can do some practice on the various math tools that we have done in the weekend. Fine. So that maybe on Monday or Tuesday, if required, we can discuss a few questions out of those sheets. Okay. Chalo, nice interacting. We will meet tomorrow again for the next part of the journey, and that is integral calculus, and wind it up tomorrow. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and have a great day yourself. Bye. Thank you, Lavanya.